So how cool would it be if you, for your, let's say your 30th or 40th or 50th birthday, instead of driving around in a cool car for the day and maybe going to Las Vegas, how cool would it be to go down to some company's headquarters and fly up into the atmosphere to the International Space Station? So today we are looking at Virgin Galactic Holdings and SPCE stock. This is a company that I've wanted to talk about for a while here because I think it's really interesting. And they had a big bump in the stock price today of 16% because they had some news that they are contracting with NASA. And I want to go over that. I want to go over what they've already done in the past and what they do as a company. And then I'm also going to kind of talk about the potential of the stock and their balance sheet, their revenue, and whether I'm going to invest or not. So before we get into it, if you don't mind hitting the like button, it really does help out the channel, helps me out personally, and I really appreciate it. So I really do this for the likes, not for anything else. And if you guys do want to start a WeBull account or a Robinhood account, there are links down below. If you invest $100 with WeBull, you get 2 free stocks. So I appreciate it, but we'll get right into it here. So as you can see by the chart here, Virgin Galactic went up 15% or 16%, and it was actually up higher than that in the pre-market today. But there was some big news that came out today that they actually made a new contract with NASA to be able to send people up to the International Space Station. They also are going to do some astronaut training, so I'll go over that. But first of all, let's just take a look at what Virgin Galactic is. They are a spaceflight company within Virgin Group. It is developing commercial spacecrafts and aims to provide suborbital space flights to thousands of tourists. This isn't like NASA used to do where they send someone up to the moon. This is really for the consumer and for the customer. They're going to send people up into space to just kind of look around, and it's very expensive to do that. We'll go over that, but they're really trying to bring space to the masses. So if you think of like SpaceX is by Musk, and he owns that company and runs it. For them, it's more about exploring and being able to eventually set up a place on Mars to be able to have us live there also. So with him, it's more experiential at this point, or more of a scientific experiment right now. But for Virgin Galactic, they're really trying to bring this to the masses and make money off of it. So let's get into what they did today, or what came out today. There was news that they're going to help train astronauts for NASA. So it came out today that they were signing a deal with NASA to train private astronauts and coordinate potential trips to the ISS. So this is kind of a big deal because the NASA contracts are quite large actually with a lot of their different contractors, and it's really a good step forward to be able to have the government backing on this. Now, they already have about 600 reservations for $250,000 a seat. So that's $150 million. And I think once they kind of get this up and running, a lot more people will come. And if you're someone that's thinking, well, $250,000, that's an insane amount of money. And maybe for you it is, for me it definitely is. But if you're a billionaire or a billionaire's friend, this is a really small amount. Let's say you have $1,000, right? And that's all you have to your name. If you have to spend a quarter, that's probably not going to be a big deal for you, right? So if you have to, let's say you have $1,000 in your bank account and you want to go spend a night on the town or a day on the town and it costs you one quarter, that's not really that big a deal. Well, that is about the same thing as a billionaire spending $250,000. So it's really not a significant amount of money to them. It's just something to play around with essentially, even though it can do a lot of good and they realize that. So that is kind of what they're going to sell to. They're going to sell to the really high-end consumers, maybe 100 millionaires and up. I don't know exactly, but it's a very high price point for this. Maybe some people just want to do it for their bucket list too. So they have 600 people already having reservations. They've also already sent 5 people to space on 2 different flights. So they've shown that they can do this. This is something that they're good at and they're going to continue to make money at. Now, they already have a contract with NASA. As you can see here, this is their website where they're trying to make some really high-speed vehicles like Mach 2, Mach 3. And they are contracted out with NASA. They want to, as you can see here, they want to provide the next generation of safe and efficient high-speed air travel. So this is something that NASA is kind of gravitating towards more. They're getting more into private equity and working with private companies in the space travel and space flight area. So like SpaceX, like Virgin Galactic, they are more willing to contract that out recently. So that's kind of interesting to see. And if you're wondering about the potential of Virgin Galactic, how much does NASA actually pay different companies? And I'll get into their balance sheet and everything here in a second. They give out a good amount. So as we can see here, these are their largest contractors. So the California Institute of Technology gets paid over $3 billion in 2019. Boeing got paid 1.75 or 1.77 billion. Lockheed Martin gets 1.4 billion. Northrop gets 1.1 billion, and it goes down the line. And you can see here, even like the 10th or 11th companies in line are still making 200 to 300 million from NASA. So it's quite amazing how much they're willing to pay out. But if we just take a look at their company, they're relatively new, but just looking at their stock price here, they IPO'd recently, and they went up to about $40 a share, $42 a share, then back down to $6.70 at one point, actually early on. Now, they are a company that's really in the growth phase. This is like another Tesla, but much earlier on even. So as we can see here, their revenues are in millions. So in December 2017, 1.8 million, December 2018, 2.8, 3.8, trailing 12 months, 2.2. So a lot of what they're making now is just engineering contracts and stuff like that. It's not really, it's kind of like Nikola Motors. They're not doing what they want to do. They're just kind of paying the bills for now. And they have a little bit of profit here. But as you can see down here, their net income is negative hundreds of millions each year. So they're really just trying to grow. They're trying to get big contracts. They're still not profitable at losing $1 per share each year. But if we take a look at their balance sheet, it's very strong right now. And I think that they're set up pretty well for the future. So they have 420 million in cash. They have another 600,000 in receivables, so a very small amount. Their total current liabilities is only 113 million, and they're burning through cash, but I think that it'll sustain them for a while, and if they need to, they can secure some debt. They also could issue some more shares, so there are different ways to get around that if the time comes when they need to get some more money. But their book value is pretty small right now at $2 a share. So what you're really looking for here is the growth play. This is a company that's trying to grow and trying to really open up a whole new sector for the United States and for the world. This is something that I think we're going to transition to because I think there are a lot of things to do on Earth, but I also think that people will pay top dollar to go be able to fly through air. I mean, even if it's just someone flexing on another person and they take selfies in their Instagram page, or even, there are probably people that can make money on this. So I don't know if they would allow this, but if you're an influencer and you make a video of yourself up there, I think that would get tons of views. I think there are ways to cut down the cost and be able to make money off of going up into these types of airships. So I think that they'll get plenty of clients once they're able to do this. They want to be able to do it, I think, every day. So I think they want to be running them constantly up there. And I think that a lot of people will want to go back. If you're someone that's late in life and you just feel like you've done it all, this is something awesome to do. And I think that they're going to continue to grow. One thing that they really need to do is knock down the price per seat of these different flights. So if they could break it down to 50,000 or 100,000, I think you'd have so many more people that want to do it. I think about all the people that have tens of millions of dollars would probably be much more interested in doing it because it's not as significant a portion of their net worth. So I think that you could probably get 10 times the customers if you could cut it down in price. But that is just something that they're going to have to work towards, being more efficient. And I don't know where that bottom limit is, but I've also heard other people have been saying that that's really what they need to do. They need to cut that down. So I think that they're going to be able to do that over time, and as they can help different companies and everyone kind of works together to get this possible, I think that we're going to see this in the future. Maybe by the time that I'm 60, it'll be like $50,000 or something like that, or $25,000, who knows. There'll be more competition too coming in that will make it a little bit easier. It is a very high barrier of entry, but if there are 3 or 4 different companies, I think it'll be more attainable. So I appreciate you guys watching. Let me know what you guys think about SPCE. I think that personally, I'm not going to buy this now, but this is something where if they start getting contracts with NASA that pay out a good amount like they are, and if we get more information on how profitable they'll be, and if they start having people go up into space, this is something that I could definitely be interested in investing in. That being said, though, it's a really high-risk play because we don't know any amount of money that they're going to make from this. We don't really know how fast they're going to be able to grow. This is really unprecedented times and unprecedented space to get into, and we don't have any kind of roadmap for this. And I realize that holding off will make it a lot more expensive. This is a company that I think could double or triple in the next year or two, but it's also a company that could go down pretty drastically too. So I'm just going to hold off. I don't really feel like I need to invest in any one company these days. I think there are enough really good companies that are going to do well in the future that I don't feel like I'm missing out necessarily if I don't invest in a company. But let me know what you guys think about SPCE and Virgin Galactic Holdings. I'd be interested in hearing, but I appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.